Well, you made it here today, and honestly, it might be the best decision you make today as news broke in the middle of the night. As we were all asleep, a great disturbance in the force was felt as news broke on the Puckett site that Kathleen Kennedy might be leaving Lucasfilm at the end of the year. They wrote, after years of speculation and polite urging from observers like me, Kathleen Kennedy has informed Disney as well as friends and associates that she will exit as Lucasfilm president by the end of the year, per three sources. Back in 2012, when Disney bought Lucasfilm, I could feel the excitement from a lot of Star Wars fans being really happy that Disney bought Star Wars because we were going to be entering a new era of Star Wars. We were going to be getting Star Wars back on the big screen after a long hiatus, and I'm pretty sure that after the Star Wars prequels weren't really received well by fans or critics, I don't think Star Wars fans thought that they were going to be getting a new Star Wars movie for years, maybe even decades. But here we are after Disney bought it for $4 billion, and the excitement for Star Wars was at its hype when we got the news that we were going to be getting Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. We were going to be getting the trio back into Star Wars. We were going to be entering a new era because after the prequels, there's only one way to go, and that is up. As somebody that didn't really care for Star Wars at that time, I was not really all that excited for Star Wars. I could not share the hype that everybody had for The Force Awakens and Monday Night Football. That is when the excitement for me started to grow. And as we were approaching The Force Awakens release date, I could just feel everybody getting really excited because we wanted to see what Disney was going to do with Star Wars. And as somebody that did not care about Star Wars at that time and didn't really see any other Star Wars before that, I was really surprised by how well Star Wars The Force Awakens was done. J.J. Abrams was at the helm, and I thought that movie was just great. It made me appreciate Star Wars, and I really enjoyed being whisked away into this world. So ever since then, I have been somewhat of a casual fan of Star Wars, and that momentum kept running into next year as we got Rogue One, the first spin-off Star Wars movies, and that hit the trifecta once again with fans and critics loving that movie and being a financial box office hit. That momentum would hit a bit of a road bump when news came out that Chris Miller and Phil Lord were fired from the Han Solo film after they went off script, and Kathleen Kennedy and the actors weren't really a big fan of how much of that script was changing and how much they were going off it, just improvising. So they got in Ron Howard to salvage that movie as much as he possibly could. Then later that year, we got another road bump with Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Rian Johnson came in to direct this movie. We were finally going to be getting Luke Skywalker back on the big screen, and the response to that movie was not the best. It was divisive amongst a lot of people. Me personally, I enjoyed moments of that movie. I thought there were some things that I really appreciated and some things that I wished were scaled back a little bit more. But it was a bit of a road bump with the fans. I think that is where a lot of the Star Wars momentum started to die slowly. Because then we had the young Han Solo movie that came out and it wasn't received well by fans. And it was one of the lowest earning films in the new age of Star Wars. Then a year later, we had The Rise of Skywalker hit the big screen, and even though it still was a financial hit, that is where the momentum for me just died. You had Damage Control from Star Wars Episode 8, and we were trying to fix a lot in here, and it was just a gigantic mess. However, one of the saving graces came when we had The Mandalorian, and that kind of saved Star Wars for a little bit, but ever since then, nothing really has gotten me too excited like it did when The Force Awakens came out. With Kathleen Kennedy at the helm, there has been some hits that she's had that I will give credit to her, and there are some projects that I will go and say you mishandled that. Her tenure at Lucasfilm has gone from this to this slowly, and it hasn't really been the best. The thing she hasn't been able to do for the past couple of years is be on the same side as the creative. Now, taking aside the Phil Lord and Chris Miller situation, ever since the Disney Day investors meeting, we've heard Star Wars projects being announced, and then 5 minutes later, we're just gonna go ahead and cancel that because we don't know what to do. The shows, on the other hand, have not been the best. There are some shows that I will check out the first episode, but I won't get the same feeling of going back and checking out the rest of the show. And that is mostly due to the fans and critic response to those shows. Fans and critics have not been polite to the Star Wars shows, and a lot of the Star Wars fandom has been toxic. What I want from them is I want them to find somebody that is able to get on the same page as the creative sides and be able to take us into new directions. For the past 18 projects that we've had, it's just been going back to the old ways. It's been going back to things that people are familiar with without having something new and exploring this gigantic galaxy. You have this galaxy that you can explore, and instead we're staying in the same place. It's like that one kid that peaked in high school just staying in his hometown and getting those memories of high school and just never wanting to go out and do something more with his life. I think that's how Lucasfilm has been moving, and I want them to explore this gigantic world. They had a huge hit with Skeleton Crew, and I think a lot of fans and critics really enjoyed that show. However, who knows if we're going to be getting another season of that show, because so far the viewership for Star Wars has been going down, and I'm pretty sure that the interest has been going down even further, because I don't think a lot of people are really interested to check out the next Star Wars show, which is why Skeleton Crew, I think, had the worst views that they've had so far. And I just want them to get on the right track. I want them to pick somebody that is able to ride the ship, be on the same page as a creative. Under Kathleen Kennedy's orders, we have seen directors, writers, and projects being canceled left and right, and we need somebody that is going to be stepping up into this place and being able to change the shift. I want them to pick the right person to change this if it is in fact true. If Kathleen Kennedy is really leaving Lucasfilm at the end of the year, pick somebody that is going to be on the right page with the creatives and know what vision they have. What plans are we going to do to expand this world, not just be in the same place and visit same characters and try to do something new, but also being able to have those nostalgic memories for actual fans. I will give Kathleen Kennedy's her roses whenever she does something great and fun, but I will also give her the blame whenever something isn't working out, because she is the head of everything. She is the person greenlighting everything from the great to the good to the mediocre to the worst to the bad. So if you're going to be somebody that isn't going to give Kathleen Kennedy her roses whenever she does something great, and you just want to bury her whenever she does something terrible, that sounds like a you problem. But for me, I will give her roses whenever she is doing something great, and I will give her props whenever she's doing something bad. She will be called out on it, and I just want this franchise to exceed in ways and be able to bring in not just new fans but also old fans. I want them to create new stories in this vast galaxy. I would love to see somebody new in here and see how they ride the ship. Are they going to make the same mistakes that we've had in the past, or are we going to be exploring this vast galaxy? That's my wishes. That's what I really hope happens. Those are my thoughts on Kathleen Kennedy possibly leaving. Let me know down in the comments what you think about this news if it does turn out to be true. Are you happy about this? Are you somewhat nervous about who might be stepping in? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll catch you guys for the next video.